What's going on, everybody? This is Professor Crypto Banana, and if you are on the Phantom ecosystem side, you probably heard about Liquid Driver. They've been causing a lot of splashes. But what do they do? What utility do they bring? If you just want to get a basic idea, this video is just for you. I drew up a ton of diagrams, and hey, we're going to have a lot of fun going through all of them. However, I got to hit you with that disclaimer. Yeah, hey, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Keep in mind that this is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not a crypto expert. However, I love learning and sharing and simplifying things the best I can. And keep in mind that crypto is risky. All right, so let's get back to the diagram. Liquid Driver is the man in the middle. And what they do, similar to, you got a big family, they're the glue that really helps just enhance everything. So on one hand, you got farmers and they're looking for rewards. They give up their funds and they want some rewards. You got some people that are looking at Liquid Driver saying, whoa, I see what you guys are doing over there in your unique strategies and how to generate even more revenue. Okay, I want in. And then as a result, I get extra bribes and rewards. And then there's also decentralized exchanges. And they need some liquidity. They need funds in order to help get that engine going so people can swap between tokens. And it gives better rates, and then people can come in and be like, ooh, okay. And that generates a lot of revenue as well. Finally, there's also newer projects on the block that are saying, hey, I'm just getting off the ground. I need some help. I need some liquidity, some funds, because it'll be really beneficial. Now, each party on their own, there's pros and cons. However, with Liquid Driver being in the middle, it blends it and makes everything just a little bit nicer. So let's go over some of the details. First question that needs to be asked is, what is liquidity, right? Because we're talking about Liquid Driver, what is liquidity? And I'm going to move my face. I'm going for a little ride here. Don't mind me. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay. The simplest answer that I can give without going too much into detail is it's just people giving up their funds so other people can swap their tokens. Simple enough, right? Because let's say you have Phantom and you want to get the Liquid Driver token, and it can be any token, doesn't matter, it could be a banana token for another one. Well, you have to have somebody in the middle that's willing to temporarily give up their funds, at least on a decentralized exchange. If you go to Coinbase or Binance, they're the ones that are doing it. However, in decentralized way, so you go to like Uniswap, you come over to SpiritSwap, this is what's happening. And some people are temporarily giving up their funds. Now, those funds can go up and down, so watch out for impermanent loss. One thing to really consider, but there's also some great potential for rewards. Awesome. In the meantime, by temporarily giving up the funds right here, so you could say somebody gives up both half Liquid Driver and half Phantom, so then people can swap between it. We call that liquidity. So remember, Liquid Driver, well, this is kind of what's happening here. It's liquidity. So then, people can bring their Phantom, swap it out, get their Liquid Driver token, and vice versa. So if you ever hear about people talking about, oh man, my NFTs are illiquid, what does that mean? It just means that there's not really a way to swap out, right? You can't really sell it because nobody's there to buy it. So this helps facilitate that. Okay, cool. So question number 2, very important. Why is liquidity important? I came up with 3 reasons. Number 1, it makes it easier so people can swap between the tokens that they want. So, the example here, if I got Liquid Driver tokens, maybe I want to go to Phantom and vice versa. Or maybe I want to go from Tether to USDC. Doesn't matter, but it makes it easier to let that happen. Okay. Number 2, you want to get a good rate. So Tether and USDC is a great example. Both represent $1, right? They should be $1. However, that's not exactly the case, especially between different tokens, because if it's kind of a balance beam or a lever and one side gets way too much and the other one not so much, it's not actually going to be equal. You're going to lose out on some of those rates. So if you're trying to do a swap, you can get what's known as slippage, where you're like, hey bro, I should have gotten $1 for $1 and I ended up losing $5 in this trade. What the heck happened? I lost 5%. That's ridiculous. They're both worth $1. Well, if not enough people are providing the funds, then that mismatch happens, and it's not good, especially when whales come around. I'm sure they don't like that. If you know a whale, let me know. Ask them, because I want to be whale status one day. That's the goal. And then lastly, it makes charts less volatile. So I'm sure we've seen it where, let's say, Bitcoin tanks, and you're like, uh-oh, here we go. Well, if you don't have a ton of funds there, of people just temporarily giving up the funds, and there's just a little bit, people sell, makes a bigger splash, bigger impact on the charts. Then other people get scared and they pull their funds out, and it's a whole mess. And then the charts look wrecked, and then who wants to get back in on that? It's way more difficult to get people to come back in as a result. So those are my reasons why. So now let's talk about decentralized exchanges. In this example, we're going to talk about Spirit Swap. So in the previous photo that we had there, we showed how liquidity is important, so people can come in and trade. And again, liquidity is just people temporarily giving up their money, and that's really it, in the form of picking two different tokens. All right, so Spirit Swap, what happens is they say, oh, hey, thanks for this liquidity. We are going to hold on to it so that other people can come to our place right here and do that swapping feature. And as a result, we'll collect a little bit of fees. It's like, okay, all right, cool. So that's how decentralized exchanges, how I see it, they make money, and keeping it simple. Okay, so let's talk about new projects. They come on the block. You got a project like, ooh, that's really innovative, etc. And there's different ways on how they can start off the ground, because you can't just say, oh, I got 10,000 of this banana token. It's like, okay, well, it's not really backed by anything. It literally isn't. It's like, how do you do a price? How do you automatically put it out there on Spirit Swap when there's nothing backing it? It's like, well, I could give 3 Phantom. Well, that's not how the balance really works, because it starts off at 0. So you need to provide it with some value. So there's different ways. That's why you'll hear projects go to venture capitalists and get some funding that way. They may go to a launch pad. There's different ways around it, but they need liquidity. They need those funds to get off the ground. And if they have a lot of it, hey, it's less volatile. But if it's a new one, you can see it. The swings go major. I'll go like majorly up, then down, then up, then down. And at this point, if it's a new project, people look at it and say, is this a rug pull? I'm scared. Look at how high I went over here. Now it's this low. I don't want to participate. And this is a new project. There could have been nothing wrong with it. But because there's not enough funds backing it, then you get bad charts. And that really doesn't help out projects, especially when they're trying to get off the ground. So, all right, looking at this one. This one looks a little scary, but we can get through this. You're doing a great job. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so one tactic that new projects do is they have a ton of tokens of their tokens, and they dump it. They keep on supplying a ton of it, more and more and more. So then you could be asking yourself, why would they do that? Well, I had a great conversation with Dr.Liquid, and he quickly explained it to me, is that it's so that the projects can actually collect more of those funds from people. Now, granted, they're giving out a ton of tokens, and some people are going to be selling it, and then a lot of funds are lost. But hopefully, if it's a good project, enough people will stick around, keep collecting it, but they'll look at the charts and go, ooh, everybody's just been collecting these tokens, dumping, and now everybody that was in here temporarily just for the tokens, they see, it's not worth it. A lot of the funds are gone, so I'm out. And then hopefully the people that really believe in the project, they're still there, they're still holding their funds, they're collecting more tokens because they believe in the project. And then hopefully that's when the price and the charts can recover. However, again, it requires patience, and hopefully it's a great project, and there's a lot of factors that can go into it, but that's just one strategy. So when you hear a lot of projects emitting a lot of tokens, that is why. They want some people to come on in and put the funds in and keep it there, but then there's also opportunists who look and go, ooh, okay, I'll temporarily come in, grab all those tokens because they're kind of valuable, and then I will dump it. So let's take a look over here. Can I move myself? I think I can. Woohoo! All right. So in this example right here, let's say I'm a farmer. I'm just like, I don't care what the project is. You're giving me some rewards. I can get a ton of these tokens and sell them and dump them and go to the next one. I'm going to do it. So then that's where I give up my funds temporarily. I'll buy half of token A, half of token B, which will be, Phantom in the new project. It's like, ooh, I'm getting a ton of these tokens. Meanwhile, my funds are right here, just, helping me generate rewards. So then you got to calculate impermanent loss. So that's a major thing because your funds in here, let's say you put in $100, this could be going down to 90 to 80. And you're like, but I'm getting 5%. Yeah, but you're getting 5% of $80, now 5% of $70, and you're losing money on the way down. Granted, you can make money on the way up as well. But again, it's all permanent loss. Main takeaway, you're getting a ton of tokens right now that you can sell, hopefully get rewards and a profit. And then when you're all done, you yank this. You yank your funds out saying, all right, thank you very much. I'm on to the next one. And at that point, hopefully that's because the charts are looking real gnarly. And the people that really believe in the project are like, I'm still holding. I was collecting all those tokens that whole time, baby. I'm ready. And then, if it's a good project, it'll take off. All right, enough about that. Let's keep going here. So let's bring this all together. Win, 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 win. I gotta put like a, when it's exponential to the 5th power. So who's all winning in this model and how is Liquid Driver helping out here? Well, Liquid Driver looks at the farmer and says, okay, bro, you're here just for the money and the rewards. Temporarily give up your funds and we'll give you rewards. We'll help you out. And the farmer's happy. It's like, awesome. Then we also got the people looking at what Liquid Driver is doing, their strategies, their rewards, everything. And they're like, I want in on this. And we can also get bribes similar to the curve convex model that's happening out there on the Ethereum side. Don't worry, a little complex on that front. But some people, savvy investors, may be like, ooh, okay. Again, not financial advice. Now, decentralized exchanges, they need liquidity as well to help those token swaps happen. And they need a lot of it. Because if they have a lot, the fees are a lot cheaper. A lot of people are going to be looking at it saying, cheaper fees, I'm in. And as a result, the DEXes are creating more revenue. People want in. So the decentralized exchanges say, thank you very much for providing all those extra tokens that we need. We'll give you our tokens in return. So in this example, it'd be Spirit. And Liquid Driver knows how to kind of like keep things sticky and hold on to the tokens, etc. And how to really do cool things with those tokens. So if you know about Lin Spirit and the whole Spirit Wars that's going on, check out my other video on that. And also new projects could be coming in saying, yo, can you help direct some liquidity our way, at some of those tokens or some of those rewards so that farmers are going to want to get in here. And they're like, yeah, we got you. But the cool part is these projects, they don't have to dump a ton of liquidity. They don't have to dump a ton of their tokens. You know how we were talking about here that they're just dumping and dumping and dumping? Well, they just do, and this is how I'm understanding it, they just do what's known as a bribe. They say, here's some of our tokens, here you go. And if you do that, work your magic so that farmers and other people want to provide us funds temporarily so, the swapping can happen. And they're like, all right, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. And what's cool is it's the different strategies. I won't go into it, but then no longer are people probably dumping that project's token. It's just more different, diverse tokens are getting rewarded. And some people are like, hey, I'm getting some Spirit tokens. I love this. I'll hold on to it. Or, hey, I'm getting some Liquid Driver tokens as a reward for providing liquidity to this new project. But I'm getting Liquid Driver tokens. I like Liquid Driver tokens. I don't care about that new project, but I'm not going to dump my Liquid Driver tokens. I don't care. I'm happy. So everybody's like really happy in this equation. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Now, there's probably risks involved, so always take a look at all the different risks. There's probably smart contract risk and how the project operates. But overall, I really like it. I went over all the wins, and I think overall, on the Phantom ecosystem side, it's amazing because I did talk to Dr.Liquid, and he was adamant on how he wants to not dump other tokens, meaning he does partnerships with, let's say, Spirit Swap and all these other ones, and it's a fight for governance tokens and voting power and how to get more rewards redirected, etc. So you think, well, it's a competition, it's cutthroat, and it's actually the complete opposite. He has the intention of like, okay, he doesn't want to see people dump Spirit tokens, the partnership. He doesn't want to see that happen. He doesn't want to see anybody like dumping the other tokens. So he's coming up with different strategies, different ways, shipping out a lot of innovation. Really cool. And then that's where we come up with the idea of Spiderweb Liquidity. Because with all these different partnerships and rewards, everybody's kind of like other projects are getting into investing into the other projects and holding on to the tokens. And what's happening is the money or the funds that are on Phantom isn't really leaving, staying with the projects. And you're seeing that money on the projects go up. Other projects on different blockchains, let's say you look at Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, like regardless of what it is, they're going to take a look and say, I see the value going up over here. I want a piece of that. Phantom's got a lot of money. I got a great project. Why don't I go over there? And again, they're going to need some funds to get started. So then they can always go to Liquid Driver and say, hey, can you help us get off the ground? We don't want to have to give out a ton of tokens and battle the whole charts. You could hopefully make it easier for us. We'll just pay more of an upfront cost with the bribes, and you work your magic. So I know this is really complex. Hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a high five. High five. Awesome for sticking with me up until this point. Let's just take a quick look at the graph just so you get an idea, because typically, when it comes to Liquid Driver, they are emitting their own tokens, and people are like, well, farming tokens go to zero. And then you take a look at this and you say, I wouldn't even know that Bitcoin has been struggling at this point in time. In fact, a lot of people have been asking me, when's a good entry point in? Again, not financial advice. I can't say anything. I can't even help you. Maybe a good way to start is just by farming some tokens, or just farming and then earning some of those tokens and locking it up. But again, do your own research. This is just more for an intro. One thing that's really cool though is how, we were talking about bribing. They just got started with this. And if you want to take a look, they got FRAX. And FRAX ain't no schlum off the block. Let's take a look right here. We'll pop up that good old coin Gekio, and we'll take a look at FRAX. Number 68. Okay, so FRAX, they're probably doing more of the stable coins, and they're competing, and they looked at Phantom saying probably, hey, got to come on there. Did a partnership with Liquid Driver, so that passed. They're giving out some bribes, so you can take a look at the snapshot here. And wow, it's some cool stuff. So you know what? Let's just wrap this all up, because we all got stuff to do. So overall, the DeFi liquidity, it's very confusing. It's a lot to take in. If I'm being honest, I'm still learning a lot. Oh, and disclaimer, I am invested in Liquid Driver, and I do love Phantom. It is my base, so I'm heavily biased. Okay, that's one quick thing. But no, overall, DeFi and learning about these different terms, liquidity, it's very confusing, overwhelming, but I kind of like it, and I want to make it simple. So at this point, there's different people that are trying to get different things. You got decentralized exchanges, you got farmers, you got new projects, and they're all trying to just, they have their own objective. And Liquid Driver comes in the middle and says, I can help facilitate, and bring benefit to everybody here. And they're more of a middleman. I really like it. I enjoy it. Check it out. I'm not getting paid. I just really like the project. So check that out. Check out my other videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.